gospodina Michaela Tellingera da dođe na pozornicu. Michael, the stage is yours.
Dobar dan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here in beautiful Croatia for the second time. I was here last year, but unfortunately we didn't do a presentation. We just came to have a little holiday in your beautiful country. And this year we are very pleased to be taking our tour around Europe to your beautiful country, Zagreb today and Opatija tomorrow. So thank you for coming out to listen to these crazy researchers from all over the world that are sharing some very interesting and exciting information and new breakthrough research that is forcing us to really rethink the origins of humankind and ancient human history. So before I introduce my colleagues on this tour, I would like to just apologize on behalf of our fourth colleague, Klaus Donner, over there. And that's exactly where he is. Unfortunately, he's stuck in a big hole in the Philippines. Klaus has been very busy for the last month at least, probably closer to 2 months now, doing some very, very exciting and breakthrough, I suppose you can call it, excavations and research in the Philippines. And they're so close to making a breakthrough every day that it became almost impossible for him to come out and join us on this tour. So on behalf of Klaus, I send his apologies and I greet you on his behalf. We're expecting great news from him every day. So every second day or so we speak to Klaus, what's happening. But unfortunately they've also been met with some bad weather. They've got monsoon rains, and they get floods and mud on a regular basis. So this has slowed down their expedition and their exploration quite badly. But the good news is that you will hear a little bit more from myself, from Samir Osmanagic and from Valery Uvarov. We will give you a little bit more to share with you in the absence of Klaus Donner. So let me now introduce you to my next colleague on this tour. And he has really become the epitome and the face of this part of the world. And every area of the world has its heroes and its frontier pioneers. And Samir Osmanagic has become exactly that. So I feel extremely privileged to have met Samir, or Sam as we call him in English, because he is really leading the way in this part of the world with breakthrough research and showing that Bosnia and the whole Balkan area has a very, very ancient history that is connected to the rest of the world and to the mysterious ancient civilizations that we are uncovering almost on a daily basis as we explore this amazing planet of ours. So I'd like to welcome my colleague on this tour and the real Indiana Jones, Mr. Samir Osmanagic.
Dobar dan, kao i on. Pošto moramo govoriti engleski, always love to come to Croatia. Danas ću govoriti u 5 sati. Hvala vam lijepo na dolazu. And now our very good friend from Russia, Valery Uvarov.
Today we have a wonderful chance to make an unusual trip into the ancient technologies, which actually gave us a unique possibility to see and to know what we can do for our future, to change it for better. So thank you for being here and coming here.
And I would also like to thank Silvana and Barbara for their beautiful playing of the balls and the gongs. Thank you so much, ladies. It was a beautiful surprise to come into, especially for me, because I'm the guy that talks about sound all the time. So I love the fact that you started this conference with your beautiful bathing us in sound resonance. Thank you very much. So to get the show on the road here, I'd like to introduce our first speaker today, my dear friend Valery Uvarov from St. Petersburg, Russia. And there are very few people that can call themselves pyramid builders in the world today. Very few of us would even know how to begin to build a pyramid because there are some very pertinent mathematical equations. Let's step forward. There's some very important equations that go into the building of a pyramid, and a lot of important knowledge. You can't just go and build a pyramid because it's not necessarily going to have the effect that you want. Or if you do build it, it might have the opposite effect from what you want. So this is a lifetime of research and science and understanding this ancient technology. But what Valery is going to share with you today is the science behind pyramids, a deeper understanding of what pyramid power is and the energies are, and a whole huge field of research around the pyramids, its effects on our lives, on the medical industry, on our cities, on our bodies, and so much more. And I feel a great privilege to be able to share this stage and this tour with an incredible human being like Valery Uvarov. Thank you, Valery.
I'm glad to start using this microphone. Can you take it? And Michael is absolutely right. The information which actually I'm going to share with you will affect our future. And all who knows me already, they are aware that I am especially concentrated on kids. And anything what I do in my life, I mean research of the ancient technologies, I do share with people for one very important reason. I'd like to have this knowledge usable for our daily life. I'd like to share this knowledge so that you could use this knowledge in your home, for your kids, because they are those ones who will change this world for better. But what we have to do is just to bring the knowledge in the way understandable for people. So today, in general, I would call my presentation, as it's written here, pyramids and their role in evolution of our civilization. So, if you take a close look over our planet, you will see and discover lots of pyramids all over the world. Just think, thousands of pyramids, different forms and configuration. And all this difference manifests one very important idea, that these pyramids have had different prescription, different function, different purpose. And what all that pyramids have been used for? Pyramids have always played a decisive role in the evolution of our civilization, and not only. Pyramids are very effective instruments. That's why they have been always used and will be used by all civilization in our universe. A long time ago, a very unique and special system of interplanetary energetic and information communication have been built in our universe. And this is the reason why, on one hand, pyramids will be found all over our universe, in many planets. And at the same time, this type of pyramids will be the oldest type of pyramids. And these pyramids have been used, as I said before, to stimulate the evolution of the consciousness of our civilization. And what is important, that information about it you can find in ancient Hermetic texts. And one of the books, which called Hermes Trismegistus, and if you read it, probably you noted that there is a text like this over there. And I, said Hermes, shall make humanity rational, give it wisdom, and pass on the truth. I shall never cease working for the benefit of the life of mortals, each and everyone, so that the natural forces acting within them might be in harmony with the stars that are above them. Let's have a look on the pyramids. If we put or create some kind of a time spiral, it's just imaginary time spiral, and put on the spiral the pyramids were actually existing on the planet. So the pyramid, like you have in Bosnia, it will be the oldest type of pyramid on our planet. Pyramid in the circle is an example of the pyramid cut from natural rock. In ancient Egyptian tradition, such pyramids were called sacred hills of first time. In general, there were 60 sacred hills chosen for building of the pyramids on them in ancient times. And that pyramid formed a special system which covers the planet from South Pole in spiral up to Northern Pole. So that's the reason why, as I told you, you can find pyramids everywhere. The pyramids which have been built on so-called sacred hills in Italy or here in Siberia. Such pyramids were a highest level of pyramid construction technique. Construction of such pyramids is very complicated. First of all, because you need to know exactly the place where the energy of life is coming out of the earth. And ancient text also says very interesting and clearly that sacred hills from which the sun rose. So, and these particular places have been pointed out by civilization of a very, very high level of development, sure extraterrestrial civilization, because ancient texts are talking very clearly about it. And this is the reason why we should take in account that aspect and to be very careful and attentive, investigating all possible ancient information concerning technologies and the pyramid. The construction processes of such pyramids is very unusual, and each construction worker knows that it is much easier to destroy old building and to build a new one than to repair the old construction. But here, people were building pyramid, cutting over the walls in the middle of the mountain. That's why it's absolutely amazing, unbelievable way of construction. And on the other hand, we should understand it and treat such pyramids like the most ancient and most technologically, advanced instrument on our planet. The pyramids can be also found, this pyramid in Crimea. Energy information flows that have been sent to planet Earth and then redirected by the pyramids mostly have been looking on the places or centers of the civilization of our planet. So for such redirection, Another type of pyramid have been built, and from this picture you can clearly see that such pyramids cut of natural rock played a role of so-called reflectors. And this type of pyramids, this is in Italy, they played a role of those pyramids who were directed, as I told, especially in certain areas where so-called corridor opening was situated, because now we can be 100% sure that any places where civilization on our planet have developed, they were always connected with corridors or the system of interplanetary evolutionary stimulation with the help of the pyramids. So, the central object of ancient system for stimulation of humanity on planet Earth was and is actually Kailash mountain. This structure have always been, also have been cut of the natural rock. Who and when did it, nobody knows. It's very, very old construction. But Kailash plays a very special role. If we compare the system actually with a human body, Kailash played a role of hypothalamic pituitary system, this one. Kailash was and is receiving energy and information flow coming from outer space, and then redirect this information through energy channels of the Earth and with the help of so-called reflectors. Here I'd like to point out one very important moment, that all pyramids built before Great Flood and after Great Flood have been oriented on northern pole. Note, they play on northern side of Kailash is not looking on the present North Pole. It is turned 15 degrees westward. And if we put the line and continue this line like perpendicular to the northern face of Kailash mountain and prolong it, as the ancient text says, we will come first of all to the northern pole, former northern pole, and we will find the place of famous legendary Kailash mountain. So, if we cover this 7,000 kilometers north, we came to Greenland. To find the exact place where Meru Mountain, sacred Meru Mountain is situated, we need another vector from the other hemisphere, western hemisphere of the planet Earth. And for this reason, we could use a very interesting and useful technique, method, so-called method of reverse. So if we will make like a line from the south face of Meru Mountain into the direction of the south, and then perpendicular to this line, to this vector, in the westward direction, we came here. And this is exactly the place where Pyramid of Atlantis have been situated. And actually, it is still here. And interesting is that the map, Haji Ahmed map, also had this sign, and he used this place as a benchmark for cartographers of ancient times. So, with the help of this very simple technique, we can verify where actually now the Pyramid of Atlantis is. So, coming to the west part, western hemisphere of the planet, we can take a pyramid complex of Teotihuacan in Mexico. And here is also interesting that the road, so-called the road of death, do not look to the north. It dismissed, little turned, and also 15 grade, but eastward. So if we will continue this vector, we again come to Greenland. And that pyramid we have been talking right now, this is not only one or two complexes. A lot of pyramids all over the world have been oriented on Meru Mountain in ancient times. And here you can see pictures of Chinese pyramid. A lot of big and small Chinese pyramids which have been built according to the knowledge and principle formulated before the flood. They have orientation not on the present northern pole, but also a little bit turned. So if we will take all these vectors and project these vectors to the northern pole, we come to the place where Meru Mountain is situated. It is important to know by many reasons. First of all, because for last, I think, 1,000 years, maybe even more, people are trying to find out where the Meru Mountain actually exists. And present investigators, they say that it is in the middle of the Northern Ocean and it's under the water, and we cannot get access to this pyramid. But in reality, as you see, according to the ancient maps, Meru Mountain is situated in Greenland, under very thin layer of the snow. So, all these three bearings showed us the place where the main spiritual center of Hyperborean civilization have been situated. Hyperborean civilization is a very important civilization. Maybe you have heard about it, maybe not. But according to the ancient texts, when Martian civilization, I'd like to point out, not civilization from Orion or from far, far situated outer space civilization or solar system, no. From our solar system, that was civilizers were. They came to the Earth and they brought the knowledge which they shared, started to share with the people 18,000 years ago. And the first landing of Martian civilization took place exactly on the northern pole, where Meru Mountain later have been cut of the natural rock. And the sides of this natural rock have been covered with big, big blocks like Bosnian Pyramid of Sun, exactly the same technology. And the other very important reason why this place has been used, and it is very important for understanding of interplanetary communication and also interplanetary movements from one dimension to another, because Meru Mountain have been situated on most powerful geological fault of the planet Earth. And when the planet was rotating, these, and energies which are, let's say, the opening of the central tunnel in the middle, it was always inclined to get wider and wider, and it helps the energetic beam coming from the core of the planet to be very stable and very, very strong. The height of this energetic beam was few thousands kilometers up from the planet. And this is the reason why, in later time, all pyramids and all temples all over the world have been oriented on the Meru Mountain. And here, this is this temple, which have a name of Meru Mountain, shows us symbolically this idea. So you see the foundation of this temple made as a ring and of stone. It represents and symbolizes the body of the planet. On the northern hemisphere of the planet, we see this temple. And this temple is called Meru Mountain. And these figures of bodhisattvas representing pyramids and temples all over the world, they are looking in direction of this temple. And then another very important moment and detail. On top, above the Meru Mountain, we see strange objects. Now we can say for sure that in ancient times, and even now, over the Northern Pole, there is a space station hovering up till today. But at that time, this space station had been hovering over former Northern Pole. And what is interesting is that on 20th of January 2010, while taking photos of the unusual green aurora borealis, a photographer, his name is Per Arne Mikkelsen, he made a shot, and here you can see a strange object which he registered. He made a photo of that station that was hovering over the Northern Pole very, very high above. So now we can shortly imagine the system, how that system of space communication, interplanetary energy and information space communication have been organized. All pyramids all over the world have been oriented to the Meru Mountain. Energetic beam was sending the signal to the station, and this station retransmits the information and energy to the outer space, and the same way back. And now, after this general view on the meaning of most ancient pyramid of our planet, I'd like to give some more details about pyramids, and that's why I call this part anatomy of the pyramids. And I'd like to start with the Pyramid of the Sun in Bosnia, because this pyramid played, and even now, is playing a very special, crucial role in the destiny of our civilization. Interesting is that this pyramid of the Sun, which is close to us, thanks to God, is and was so important in this energy information communication that right after the asteroid impact, which took place 13,660 years ago, when planet Earth lost its orbit, and the planet Earth also changed the axis of rotation, and Northern Pole have been dismissed 15 degrees, somebody came to this territory and they reoriented. They made kind of a reparation of the Pyramid of the Sun. And they little bit dismissed the site so that the Pyramid of the Sun could be oriented on the present Northern Pole. Another thing, important thing, which I'd like to point out, that in spite of a very simple look, such pyramids are high-tech construction, using very special, very unusual technologies. Some of the technologies can be explained from the point of view of present science, the others not. Such pyramids have been, and actually are, very effective instruments for space communication. They have a very stable, this communication channel, let's call it like this. But the operation, the work with this pyramid needs to get people prepared. And this preparation of the human beings to work with the pyramid included correction and stimulation of the energy system of people. Such a task, correction of energetic system, is a very, very complicated task, but it's done unusually interesting. It can look like a simple way, but at the same time, it's fascinating way. The correction and stimulation have been done with help so-called resonators. Resonators are those равнитонals, whom probably you have been heard about. To understand the principle, how the system was working, I mean operation of равнитонals, we need to turn to the most important cosmic principle of anthropic similarity. Anthropic similarity means when anything built exactly according or like human organism. In this system, human energetic system is a projection of energetic system of the universe. In life support system of human body, energetic system plays the special role. It's kind of a transition and adaptive link between the body of the universe and the human body. Main part of the matrix of energy system of our organism, which is projection of energetic system and energetic channels of the universe, located in our second energetic body, which we used to call astral body. If we take close look on the astral body matrix, we will recognize that it is projection of the blood circulation system. And here I did especially tonight this picture to show you that this energetic matrix, exactly the same thing as in the universe, the same system of energetic channels. Actually, energetic channels forms kind of an energetic skeleton, and during development of our organism, biological tissues are growing over a long energetic this energetic skeleton, and by this way forming a blood circulation system. Each segment of energetic channels, this one, this one, this one, each energetic segment vibrates with its own vibration. And this helps to control all processes in our organism, and as you start to understand that the signals which are sent from outer space, from the universe, somehow getting transformed, comes to our body and affects all living processes. In this case, we should understand that each energy channel of the system is a kind of a resonator, vibrating with its own vibration. And here, I'd like to point out that the soil, let's say the skin of the planet Earth, is also constructed the same way. There are also so-called energetic channels inside of the universe, which are vibrating with their own vibration rates. And here I did this picture just to give you idea how ancients used this principle to build the labyrinths near the Pyramid of the Sun. The main idea was like this. So from the beginning, from the previous slide, you understood that each segment of the blood circulation system, and actually energy system, energy channels, is vibrating with its own vibration, just bringing all necessary energetic signals to keep the organism in a good condition. When but of the earth have been used. Imagine, somebody was capable to see, to feel how this channel under the ground is going on. And they took unnecessary, useless soil out of the ground. Beside it, and it's interesting, before I will continue, I'd like to say that if this principle have been used for constructing, for construction of these tunnels, they work as the resonators which took out of the human energetic system, out from human energetic bodies, all negative, all ill energies. Isn't it wonderful? And at the same time, you remember that in our body we have so-called acupuncture points. And these acupuncture points, they are situated in some conjunctions of the blood circulation system. Like here, and you can see conjunction. And those places where a few tunnels come together, are situated so-called energetic, very powerful places, kind of energetic channels coming from this acupuncture point. And to create a certain quality, to make this place in this system of tunnels vibrate with the special energy necessary for communication and necessary for correction of human biological system, they used minerals having special capacities. And here on this picture, I'm showing how in such an acupuncture point of the tunnel, they put a piece of mineral which, being inside of energetical being, starts to vibrate and emit a certain, very specific flow of energy. And close to it, there is so-called megalithes, which redistribute, redirect this signal to the different directions. And like this, using this technique, a certain segments of tunnels inside of the REVNE labyrinth, they are vibrating with energies, correcting our energetic system, our health, and prepare human being for communication with the gods, as ancient text says, through the pyramids, through this high-tech technological instrument. Isn't it wonderful? Unusual. So, let's make another step for better understanding of the pyramids. And as you have seen from the first slide, there are many different pyramids all over the world. And right after Great Flood, when direct contact with those extraterrestrials who have been in ongoing contact with people, giving them knowledge how to build the pyramid. And what is most amazing, that the knowledge of longevity have been given. So the knowledge how and what people should do to live long. And you can find information about it in ancient texts, when the texts are giving information of people living 600 years, 900 years, and even more. That's not the question of wrong calendars. This is the actually idea that some people on our planet have been living very, very long. And when this possibility have been lost, the general part of the system in ancient time used for space communication have been destroyed. People started to build pyramids where they were living, trying to install or reinstall contact with the gods. And this type of pyramids, very simple looking pyramids, but they were also embodying very interesting and important technique. First of all, those who built the pyramids, they made a choice of the place where to build. Usually from this place, energy of Ra, or energy of the sun, was coming out of the ground. Such places are always connected with so-called geological faults, and as the prolongation of this energy beam coming of the earth, they built a pyramid, and usually the beam is here. Such a pyramid played the role of concentrator. And if you look attentively, you'll see that in ancient times, this pyramid had 8, sometimes 6, sometimes 12 facets. That was done also by very, very special reasons. Another important detail, which usually people do not pay attention at all. They just take an account. Oh, see, 8-sided pyramid. Great. Why it was done 8-sided? So, mostly we think that it is according to, geometrical knowledge. So we remove the side, we are doing like this, but keep in mind one very important idea, that ancients never did anything just like this, just to keep a certain geometrical ideas be, described here. By this way, they were trying to realize two main aspects. First main aspect, if you take any energetical vortex and any geological fault, this beam is fluctuating. It's not stable. To make it stable, you need to create a certain construction around. Then this energetical beam become more stable. And we will speak about it once again. The other very important knowledge, and I also would like you to remember, this is important. Any energetical vortex which is coming out of the ground, even on any sacred place ever described, or you can learn from somebody that there is a very ancient temple, connected with a Christian or doesn't matter, Egyptian temple. It's sacred, the most sacred place in the world. Just angels are living there. Just keeping in mind, this vortex always has so-called negative aspect. And this aspect should be neutralized. And neutralization of this aspect have been done also by very special resonators, tuned so that this negative aspect have been neutralized. So, another example of the pyramids, actually pyramids made of soil and also oriented on the former north and having this square on top, we can find in ancient China. And then approximately the same type of the pyramid. Also, in these pyramids, priests were working on top here. But as you see, here we have already 9 steps and even a little bit more complicated construction. Why? Because pyramids have been built for certain reasons, and they have been always tuned, whether on a human being or tuned so that this pyramid could help realize one or another task or idea. And this pyramid in Chichen Itza is an example of a much more complicated system of the pyramids. To understand how these pyramids have been tuned, we now talk a little bit about very ancient Egyptian doctrine about structural unity of human being, the earth, and the universe, which in ancient time have been called Kabbalah on. And here I'd like again to point out and say that this doctrine is so important. This doctrine is describing the actual construction of a universe and human body, actually, but also body of the Creator, that we can for sure say that this information have been received from outer space, highly developed civilization, with the help of the pyramid, such as Bosnian pyramids in Visoko. So, as I told you, according to the ancient knowledge, human being and the planet Earth have one and the same construction. Man has physical body, and the planet Earth has a physical body. Human being and his energetical system has so-called 7 energetical chakras or centers, the same with the planet Earth. So first complex of the pyramid we have been already talking about have been built exactly on the places correlated with these 7 most important areas of the energetic system of the Earth, and played a role of a tuning, like say, fork, where the South Pole played the role of the first chakra, and Northern Pole of the 6th and 7th chakra. And now let's have a look on a little bit different type of construction of the pyramids, which in ancient time have been used and played the role of pyramids for interplanetary communication. This is the pyramids which in ancient time have been used in Sumeria. The knowledge about this pyramid have been received from Martian civilization, and what is interesting that these pyramids, from the beginning, they have been made of metal. And such pyramid had an overall telescopic structure when the steps were moving up and down, in and out, like a camera lens. On top of this pyramid, there were also a very special system for fine-tuning. To build a proper pyramid tuned on a human being and on the extraterrestrials with whom those who have been on the planet Earth was talking about, pyramid should be built according to this principle. What is important? Physical bodies, 7 chakras, distance between 7 chakras, distance between bones of the fingers, hand, spine. This is the very important details which always have been taken as the units to make a plan of the pyramid, and then according to these units, pyramids have been, as I told you, tuned on one or another person. So this type of pyramids have been used, as I told, the pyramids for interplanetary communication. Another very important stimulus why in ancient times the pyramid have been constructed, this is the obtaining information about past, present, and future. Here I'd like to start with the ancient text which says that according to knowledge received from highly developed extraterrestrial civilization, there is no past and there is no future. Everything is going on right now. But how it can be? Because present scientific worldview is giving us a quite different perspective. And being educated people, well educated and grown up, we remember that there were times when we were born, then we become older kids, and then time will come when the door will be opened into the next life. So somehow we understand that, we see that for us there were a past time, and at least we have our future. So how can we imagine that the past and the future, everything is going on now? And again, to understand it, we have to come back to Kabbalah. According to Kabbalah, the universe is the body of Creator. Following this principle, the universe, the planet Earth, and the human body have one similar multi-dimensional construction. But how we can properly imagine this? Here I'd like to point out that there are at least two different patterns of multi-dimensionality. And these patterns will help us to understand what it means there is no past and no future. Because mostly, well-known configuration is the one when first energetical body is located inside of the second energetical body, and the second inside of the third energetical body, and so on, like a matryoshka, like a nesting doll. And mostly, we think about multi-dimensionality like this. But here I'd like to say, to understand how time is working, we should take a look on a pattern of parallel worlds. You have heard about parallel dimensions, and mostly we accept, and present science accept the reality of multidimensionality. But we understand it like, according to the construction of universe and mathematics and physics and astrophysics, we can make, having certain technology, we can make a transition from here somewhere. But just imagine, we have technique, we make a step, and we are, on, for example, on Mars. Or next moment we are somewhere in Orion. Or we are just in a different galaxy. That's right, it is like this. But one very important aspect is missed. This is interesting, that most important aspects of any knowledge, of any technology, always stays behind the curtain, like in shadow. And here, I'd like to open up this curtain for you and say that to what we understand about multiple dimensionality, we need to add one mostly important. Behind the curtain, there is another reality. This reality is a copy of our reality. And to let you, or to help you imagine how it is constructed, I made these pictures. So, let's imagine how it is constructed, and we will take as an example planet Earth, because we are living on the planet Earth. Here, I'm giving you an idea that on some axis, time axis, time moving from, as we understand, from our past in the future, there are kind of slices. These slices belongs to interesting natural phenomena, which actually gives to the God, to any nature, to develop. Because if this principle wouldn't exist, no way for development, no chance. Just imagine that long time ago, somebody made a copy of our time channel. Just, oops, made a copy. And for easier understanding, just imagine, like this, we are sitting here, something naturally happens, and this dimension is divided into 2 exact copies. I think, and I hope that most part of you are working with computers. So for you it's easier to imagine. We have computer, and we made thousands of directories. One directory, first one, we called Earth, and then we called Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 100, Earth 1000. And then we copy in each directory file, one and the same file. And this file can be used for easy understanding. Then we switch on the program. Program starts working and developing. And here I'd like again to point out, you came into this life. You do not remember your previous life. You don't know what will happen with you all tomorrow. And the day after tomorrow also. But try to understand, as ancient text says, millions and millions and millions, very long ago, somebody who embodied the principle of time and space, male and female beginning, created enormous amount of his own projections according to his genetic code. And this text also clearly says, if you take all the texts, like Buddhistic texts, ancient Egyptian texts, Sumerian texts, they are giving idea that we think that God is endless, deathless, is perfect. But according to the ancient texts, we can say, no, situation is different. Sure, if we compare our life with his life, he lived so long that it's endlessness. But at the same time, a new pralaya, as Buddhistic text says, a new pralaya will come. And this God who created this universe will die. But actually, this is not the death. This is transformation. And you are the cells of this God. Together with him, you will be transformed and go on the following level of existence. But when God came to this position, to this life, like you, he also didn't remember who he was. But actually, mostly he has that idea. But he, for sure, didn't know where he found himself. And this is the reason why he created an enormous amount of you. And through your eyes, now he's looking in this world. He's giving you a chance to live in one country, in another country, in one life, in another life, in one time, planet. He's giving you different situations. And when you are coming through these lives, he's gathering information. Gathering. He needs information to understand where he is, who he is now, to gain on more energy for the following transition. Present psychic people, what do? You come to them for the question, what is going to happen with us tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? And they are giving you just thinking, okay, I see it's like this. No, okay. But ancient, developed civilizations, and especially highly developed civilizations, they were never ever doing this. They do what I started to talk to you about. They put you like in direction, like a program. And when program were switched on, then we change the speed of the process. So, just when you speed the change of the process, immediately a certain energetic membrane appears between two dimensions. So, and even in the parallel dimension, time is running faster. Now, what you need to do is just to look into the parallel dimension, and you know exactly what will happen with you in 800 different dimensions. What actually happened. And when you have information about it, you can have a choice. In some dimensions, you're still not in this life. In other dimension, you already passed away long, long ago. And if you have access, we can tell you exactly where next time you will be burned. You see the difference? So, according to this, when the speed of time in each dimension is different, you can see what's going on with you now and in the future. Because everything is going on at this particular moment. Do you understand how this world is constructed? This is the reason why ancient texts are talking that there is no past, there is no future. Everything is going on now. And this interesting picture of Camille Flammarion is giving you an idea. They understood that a certain membrane exists between worlds. And if you just look through this membrane, you can see the other reality. And here is just short text from ancient Egypt. And from this text it's clear that these abilities have been used in ancient time to predict the future. And this papyrus is describing the situation when the king, when the pharaoh came to Mernet-Hutti, who had extensive knowledge about past, present, and future, and he asked these priests of 3rd century, can he, Mernet-Hutti, use his ability to see and predict the future? Because even just redirecting this situation, projecting this situation on our present life, I think you understand, it would be just great to know versions of future possibilities. Then our politics would be much, much better and mostly, let's say, oriented on the human development, but not on the war. So, and as long as this world is constructed this way, we can imagine also this, like I did it here. Here we just standing on top of the Earth pyramid in Teotihuacan. And if we would just imagine having the technology, we just a little bit change the vibration, and then, oops, this membrane opened and we are at that times, thousands of years ago. We can watch, we can see what's going on here, and then we turn again the band of membrane, and oops, we are back here. But plus to it, and some Mayan texts contain information that real cognition begins from the moment we explore and realize the laws of time and space. This will allow us to see the true development of human history. How and what mechanisms are actually working. It's no coincidence that Mayan texts contains information of some events took place 300 million years ago. Because that event had been connected with very important, crucial moments of the Earth's evolution. With the help of the pyramid, we also can find out who or what is standing beside or behind one or another event. You will learn that true chronology of historical events actually is 1,000 years shorter than we know about it and we are learned in our schools. Why? What real history of humanity is? And you will see the reasons why this history have been distorted and the reasons why it was falsificated. Also, using the pyramids, it will be possible to see reality standing behind politician and spiritual events. So another very important stimulus to build a pyramid all over the world is the usage of the pyramid to travel in space and time, to learn about our past and about our future. Actually, in ancient times, there were 12 stimulus to build the pyramids, and we just looked through some of them. Another very important stimulus, it was the stimulus harmonization of inner biological time to control oncological processes. Shortly, I will explain what it means, oncological processes. I hope it will not frighten you, but in any way, you should take it into account. In ancient texts, more than 10 years ago, we have found a very interesting warning. And this warning is describing the way, actual way, how we should create and develop in us a certain energy for spiritual development. When you go to any spiritual school and start to make first exercises, as usually it's kind of energetical exercises, like these, very simple ones. And suddenly you started to feel, oh, I feel it's a dense energy, like tickling here. That's okay. You already on the way of your real energetical development. This effect appears exactly at the moment when your first energetical body comes into the resonance of the first energetical body of the earth. It is important to say that no far situated civilization or cosmos gave a life to us. No. Planet Earth gave life to our civilization and to people living here. This is the reason why I'd like to point out we are critically and deeply tuned on our planet. Planet is our mother. This is the reason why in all ancient texts, whatever time and civilization, Mother Earth is always represented by a women figure. And when you continue your development in the spiritual schools, you develop your abilities, and in a certain moment when you just touch the membrane, this energetical membrane between first energetical body and third energetical body coming in tune with your second energetical body, actually called astral energetical and the second energetical body of the earth, you start to have visions. You start to have contact with Sacred Mary, with Jesus Christ, with Atav Shiran, endless possibilities. And from there you will hear a wonderful story that you have been born from the beginning of times. You have been chosen for great mission of planet Earth to save these poor, stupid people. They're kind, but they're stupid. To let them understand what is real spirituality. I think you have heard a lot of stories like this. People are amazed. And they, with a very high activity, they start to develop further on more and more and more. And then you come into the resonance with your third energetical body, and third energetical body of the earth. And unfortunately, you get cancer. When we made the tests through Russian National Security Academy, using any possible channels, we find out that among the people who was very honestly learning in the different schools and very effectively, very good level of work, clairvoyants, healers, they will be working with people in 7-10 years, 70% of them dead from cancer. Oh my gosh. Then we started to investigate more, and we came to absolutely amazing discovery. It was like a big bowl of cold water. All well-known teachers of the world, accepted and respected, Jidda Krishnamurti, Ramana Maharishi, Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, Mira Alcasa, all of them, they died from cancer. Can you imagine? You come to the school for spiritual development, but you get cancer. Perfect result. And the ancient Egyptian text is saying that the biggest mistake which people are doing and will be doing, they are doing step by step, like we now doing in the school. First class, second week. This is the way we are thinking. To avoid this result, ancient text says, first of all, you need to synchronize your first energetical body with the first energetical body of the earth, second with the second of the earth, your third one with the third one of the earth, not step by step, but simultaneously at the one. And then, as ancient text says, you come over the border of death. Did you know about it before? No. That's why I say that's a good deal that you were not too much involved in spiritual development, because in this particular way, pyramids are playing a crucial role. What pyramids are doing? Pyramids are constructed by a very special way. Just from this picture, you already see and understand how this principle of division of energetic system have been embodied in the pyramids. We are building a pyramid where first energetical level of the pyramid is vibrating exactly like the first energetical body of human being and the earth. Second, the same principle, up till to seventh. When you go inside or on top of the pyramid, you are synchronizing all 7 energetical bodies of your system with all 7 energetical bodies of the planet at the one happened. But like just to add, pyramid is a pretty expensive tool for such, technique, let's say, for such process. In ancient Egypt, they used, not only Egyptian, Sumerian also used, Mayan also used, they used so-called the wands of Horus. If you go to the books, to any museums, you will find a lot of statues, ancient pharaohs, and you probably saw they have in the hands such cylinders, so-called the wands of Horus, because Horus was the representative god of harmony. These instruments helped to synchronize at the first three energetical bodies of a human being with first three energetical bodies of the earth. This is the simple way, but very effective. And they also used special, how to say, shoes with inserts made of copper and zinc, silver and gold. The same thing, to synchronize inner biological time. Another important idea which I would like to give you shortly, that when Eastern tradition says that to keep yourself in a good condition, you need to balance, to have in harmony your yin, yang, baka, and these energetical vortices. In Eastern tradition, we understand that yin yang is like male-female beginning. That's okay. One thing is missed. Very shortly. Yang and yin, ba and ka in ancient Egypt. These two encounter flows of time. If one flow is speeding up your time, you are living very fast. It's wrong. If you slow down your inner time, you get a cancer. But if you balance it and keep it like this at least for 2 weeks, effect of conservation of inner biological time starts. And here, remember, we will return to it. Conservation of inner biological time. You can live 100 years, 200 years, and up till 2000 and even more. So that was another very interesting effect. And the reason why pyramids have been constructed and used very actively in ancient times. So from this particular moment, we came to understanding that we should make a kind of scientific experiments with the pyramids, and we did it within the last 25 years. Here you can see the list of institutes of Russian Academy of Science, medical, physical, and others. And on the foundation, on the basement, or with the help of these institutes, we have done a lot of interesting and important medical experiments, which I'd like shortly to share with you right now. So first experiment was done in Mechnikov Vaccine Research Institute of Russia. Study of influence of the pyramid on general immune reactivity of organism. What have been done? There were few groups of mice. Experimental group and control group. Experimental group have been exposed into the pyramid for a few days, 7 days, 10 days, and 12 days. And then a very deadly bacteria have been injected into the mice. It's bacteria Salmonella typhimurium, so-called. This is very special and very hard type of bacteria which kills mice from even one cell in the body, kills 100% of them. During this experience and this experiment, we have got a wonderful result that 40% of mice who have been exposed in the pyramid stayed alive. And this experiment showed extreme growth of cellular and humoral immunity. And what is important that it was effect only pyramid, because nothing else have been used. Just pyramid and water exposed into the pyramid. Similar picture was observed when the mice were injected with various cancerogens. Actually, cancerogens, you know, they are causing the cancer effects in human organism pretty fast. So mice in experimental groups drank water exposed in the pyramid. The control group drank ordinary water. The results showed that the probability of tumors developing in the control group was several times higher than for the animals that drank water exposed in the pyramid. So, experiment proved that water exposed in the pyramid has strong anti-cancer effect. Great result. Another experiment, study of effect of the pyramid field on the antiviral activity of immune globulin. The vena globulin was dissolved in distilled water and tasted in two concentrations, 50 milligrams per liter and 0.5. Vena globulin in both concentrations was exposed in the pyramid. Then, vena globulin was introduced into cell structures 24 hours before they were infected with the deadly viruses. The study revealed that vena globulin at the concentration of 0.5 milligram per milliliter that usually has no protective effect on the cells after exposure in the pyramid did acquire a virus inhibiting effect that was more profound and pronounced than the preparation with 100 times greater concentration. Under further dilution, the concentration up till to 1,000 times and 100,000 times less. With subsequent exposure in the pyramid, the vena globulin displayed the pronounced antiviral effect. So it means that antiviral activity of vena globulin practically ceased to depend on its concentration. You understand what that means? It means that even in case of very bad illnesses like when we have too much sugar in the blood, like diabetes, when you use the medicine which shuts down your immune system critically and very fast. In this case, we can use just little bit. And what is important, that any medicine which have been displaced into the pyramid, exposed there, had first of all very strong effect, deep effect, and at the same time immunostimulating effect. Quite opposite to what we actually experience now, because any medicine we use are getting our immune down after exposition. The situation is completely opposite. In parallel with this, an experiment was conducted to examine the influence of water exposed in the pyramid on blood coagulation. The result shortly also showed a significant decrease in coagulation time, reliably demonstrating a reduction in prothrombin time and increase in quantity of thrombocytes. Further research showed that water structured in the pyramid is very effective for treatment of all forms of hepatitis. You know, hepatitis is also, it's like AIDS, very bad, illness, and probably you know. If something is wrong with the immune system, those who has hepatitis can die within half of the day. But using water exposed in the pyramid, we noticed that this water very strongly and deeply stimulates the immune system. So this is a very good possibility for people to keep up their health in having hepatitis, because electrical conductivity of water exposed in the pyramids, and by the way also with the help of so-called the wands of Horus, is much higher than usually, and this helps to maintain all the processes inside of the organism on a higher energetical level, which is actually good. In other experiments which we did, this is the experiment with agricultural stuff. And here, small video, I'm showing you. Okay, here. The experiments were done with sunflowers and turnips. Idea was following. The seeds of sunflowers have been exposed into the pyramid, and then when you can see the field where the seeds have been thrown away. It's the right side, and on the left side it's a control seeds. And the sunflowers, which grew from the seeds exposed in the pyramids, twice times bigger than ordinary flower. At the same time, we should also point out that these flowers, they had a much more strong resistance about negative effects of the weather, like cold weather or something much more strong. And another example, this is the turnips. The first two turnips, now you will see, they have been grown up on the field where seeds have been exposed in the pyramids. This one, general weight is 15 kilo in both, and this is just a normal turnip, just 5 kilo in both. So it is giving us a clear understanding that pyramid can be very effectively used in medicine and in agriculture too. And at the same time, I would like to point out another very important idea, that making these scientific experiments, we came to understanding that there are some effects which are produced by pyramids and which we can explain using the present scientific formulas or the level of understanding. Actually, we call it present scientific format. And at the same time, there are some effects which we cannot explain because they are so unusual. We just can't describe without any usage of, well, understandable scientific way of experimenting. By this, we came to a line, came to understanding that pyramids open up the door to quite a new science about human body, and especially interaction of a human body, human immune system and energetic system with cosmic resources, which helps to open up unusual psychological and physical abilities in human body. And here, let's go to another stimulus why pyramids have been built and used, and I think why we should also start to use pyramids. This is the slowing down of aging processes and construction of so-called Tilmun. In ancient Sumerian language, Tilmun means the land of life. The main problem of us is that we are growing, we are getting experience, and when we are getting enough experience to realize the laws of life, and this is just real time to start a new life, we are getting old. We are dying too early. We have no time to create a certain knowledge and certain abilities in ourselves to live longer. From ancient texts, we have got an idea that energetic fields of Tilmun has harmonizing effect, conserving inner biological time and as the result slowing down aging processes. And that ancient texts, especially Sumerian texts, we find these words that such places called Tilmun, the land of life, Tilmun were built to create conditions for conservation of biological time. We are fortunate earthlings who got to visit Tilmun and later spoke about them at the places where humanity or human being begin obtain immortality. According to ancient texts, it becomes clear that when civilization of Mars and Maltex, they started to civilize the planet, and they got into pretty close contact with people from the Earth. At the same time, they were not living together. And from here, just making kind of a bridge to the following aspect why pyramids have been used, I can tell you that the relationships between small group of people living on Earth and those from Mars and Maltex were pretty close. And from them, they learned that the longevity of life of extraterrestrials critically depend on this effect of harmonization of two flows of time. At the same time, I'd like also to point out, to make it a little bit more clear for you, that if we would just imagine, we would take a humanoid from other planet, an extraterrestrials, which usually shows and expose very unusual abilities. And those of you who read the books about contacts with extraterrestrials, you know that within such contacts, effect of telepathic communication is opened immediately. And those extraterrestrials, they can move objects, you know, they're doing wonderful stuff. But one thing is important. They can do it just because they are inside of environmental, it's a special kind of dense energy they created for themselves. And all people who have been in close contact with it, all of them say, when they appear, the body starts tickling all around because the density of the field is very high. That's why they can do it. If we just switch off this field, this extraterrestrial can do nothing. He will be the same, like we are, the same abilities without possibility to talk mentally or to move any objects. And this is the reason why in ancient time, those extraterrestrials, when they came on the planet Earth, they created certain areas, tilmuns for themselves, where they were living, where they were balancing and harmonizing inner biological time. And this harmonization have been done with help of the pyramids and so-called energetic sources. And this is another reason why pyramids have been built in ancient times. And here again, I'd like to give you a short brief idea about experiments which have been done in connection with what I was talking just now. This experiment, for the period of between 3 and 21 days, 10% solution of table salt had been exposed in the pyramid. And then it was added to the mice daily drink water, and 3 times a week the animals were dipped in the same solution. It emerged that solution from the pyramid considerably reduces the effect of stress. The indicator of this was the quantity of lymphocytes in the thymus gland, which is known to fall sharply with stress. The mice that had drank the salty water from the pyramid and been dipped in it showed almost no stress at all. And I think most part of you know that the main reason of stress is, or main reason for cancer is stress. So this is another important moment showing that the pyramid effect and why this pyramid effect has so strong anti-cancer influence on the human being. And that medical experiments which we have conducted pointed and proved. Another also interesting, unusual but interesting experiment. We studied influence of 40% glucose solution given internally and distilled water applied externally after both had been exposed in a pyramid. The patients What? Nothing, okay. The patients were newborn babies with serious pathologies. An objective assessment was provided by analysis of so-called immediate state index, which reflects the state of patient's sympathetic-adrenal system. Data was gathered and analyzed from 20 patients. In all cases, even in patients with very low index, close to zero, after the administration of only 1 milliliter of the 40% glucose, the ISIS, this immediate state index, rose subsequently practically to normal levels. The same happened after the external application of 1 milliliter of water that had been exposed in the pyramid. This is more than serious result. And here we come to another stimulus why pyramids have been constructed. The pyramids were used and built to damp the seismic activity of the planet Earth. Here on this picture, we can see two zones. Red zone, this is the zone of high instability, seismic instability, and yellow zone, a relatively high instability. To understand how it works, again, we should take into account this principle of human and planetary similar construction. In Eastern tradition, when a person gets cold or gets ill, they go to the healers and they use so-called these acupuncture needles. The principle is following shortly. If we got any deviation from normal, at any place, for example, somewhere here, deviation from normal, the information about this deviation comes through nervous system to hypothalamus and hypophysis. And then, when this information is analyzed, the signal to correct this deviation from norm is sent by endocrine system. And always the signal is the very weak electromagnetic signal. This signal goes through energetical channels. And when it comes to the place with deviation and do not come through, hypothalamus again receives information that something is wrong. And then endocrine system increases intensivity of the signal. Signal becomes stronger, then energy increases more and more, and then inflammation. The place where energy exceeded a certain normal level. It's exactly the same how it works with different electromagnetic stuff like radio and computers. If you take a table, we have one detail and another detail, some details, okay? And these details are connected with the wires. If vibration of the wire at this particular segment went wrong, then the wire becomes hot and broken. This is exactly the same here, exactly. So, Eastern tradition, knowing about it, they used these needles. They put a needle in acupuncture point and release the energy. So, they were here a lot of energy, they like not energy, and pain disappeared. That's great. The same principle have been used when they built the pyramids. here, interesting moment. On this picture, you can see this trace. This one. This picture was done with the help of this system, military system, which had been situated three stations like this on a distance 32, 30, and 60 kilometers. And these radars, they make on the ongoing scans of the skies. And that place was which they scanned was exactly over the pyramid, which was built not so far from Moscow. And suddenly they noticed that on the screen there is a beam of energy over the pyramid, which is not transparent to electromagnetic field. Unusual, but it's like this. So here we can say that over the pyramid appears energetical beam which goes up very, very far in the sky. And this picture I was done from the distance of 40 kilometers away from that pyramid we are talking now about. We catch this beam only on photos. By eyes, I didn't see it. I just made the photos in that direction. Just, like a feeling. Why shouldn't I do that? I did it, and later we noticed this huge beam. This huge beam is approximately 1,200 meters high, 500 meters wide. And it was fluctuating, but very strong. And what is important that these beams, this is the central energetic axis of all pyramids, and even these stelas, which you see here. Stelas in ancient time were always built exactly on the place where energetical beams were coming out of the ground. On one hand, these stela were increasing the power. The main idea is not an increasement. The main idea is to make it longer. The longer is this beam, the better its effect. But at the same time, we can say that the same type of energetical beam which goes up, goes down under the ground. So if we, like ancient did, we built the pyramids on a certain acupuncture points of the planet, these energetical beams coming from the pyramid will be, and actually they are playing the same role as these needles, acupuncture needles in Eastern tradition. And what is also very interesting that, look, almost famous pyramid complexes and temple complexes, they have been built in this area of highest seismic instability. From the beginning, scientists, some of them were talking that probably ancients, they didn't know about the danger of seismic activity or whatever, and they built pyramids exactly where we must not build anything. But the reality is quite different. They were building the pyramid to damp down. It's impossible to deny completely, because this seismic activity, because some seismic activity has outer space reasons, or maybe asteroid impact. But pyramids can very, very hardly damp down the activity. And this was another reason why pyramids have been used. No coffee, we have very short time. And here we came to most fascinating aspect of the pyramid and why they were used. Now look, pyramids have been used for consciously controlled reincarnation. That's the moment. That's, I tell you, the moment. Because what do you know about reincarnation? You probably have heard. Reincarnation. How many times I was the witnesser of conversation between people when some gurus were talking to pupils that, reincarnation, we are making decision whether to come to this parent on the other parent. So many stories, come on. Nothing in connection with reality. But at the same time, you don't know where and when you are going to come back into this life. Another aspect is very important. This particular aspect may carry no importance, like nothing, for those people who is not responsible for our future, for future of our planet. But those one who is now doing your best, trying to change this world for better. This aspect is critically important because you can return to this planet consciously. Why this conscious return is so important? This is closely connected, critically number one connected with the idea of spiritual development. Now we came with you together now to the moment what means actual spiritual development or enlightenment. Without this knowing, without this knowledge, you have no chance for spiritual enlightenment. Because ancient text says clearly, if you want to create conditions for this enlightenment, any one of you should know where you lived in your previous lives, where you're dead, and you need to visit the place of your previous death. And only then, reunification is taking place. Your former experience, your former knowledge with your present. And from this particular moment, you become hundreds of times, well, if we calculate like this, hundreds of times more energetic, more profound. Your life will be changed completely. It's just new. You're going to be stuck. So, let's go to the technique. The pyramids, which have been used for this particular reason, you can find in China, Ural Mountains, and also Mayan pyramids, and not only Mayan pyramids, pyramid in Meroe, Sudan, the same type of the pyramids. This knowledge, according to the ancient texts, have been received from those extraterrestrial civilizations. And the text says clearly that those who came from Mars and Maldek, they came into sexual relationships with the people on the planet Earth, and they got babies with unusual capacities and abilities. And this is the reason why, preparing Earth for following, I wouldn't say invasion, but in any way, they plan to come to the Earth and civilize the Earth and live together with people on the Earth. But they needed badly to prepare the consciousness. And this preparation could be done only through people, not direct influence, through earthly people. Those one whose father was extraterrestrial, but mother was earthly, that people was called half-gods. And for these people, this knowledge have been done how to create possibilities and conditions for consciously controlled reincarnation. At the moment when person is dying, as we say, the soul is coming out of body. And at this particular moment, the body, dying body, or right after that, we need to take into the pyramid. Then, pyramid makes kind of a hologram copy. It just caps, it gets the energetical part of actual construction of human being, because what we call soul is much more complicated. It contains of few parts. One part, according to ancient Egyptian knowledge, have been called Ka. And Ka is always departing the body and goes to God, immediately to God. But Ba stays here. That's why in ancient Egypt everything is moving around, Ba, Ba, Ba. So Ba is kept by the pyramid. Then, after this, you take your body and put it on fire. Anymore, we don't need body. Then, mother or father, or the other pair, go into the pyramid, and they goes together. I don't want to say this word, sex, I don't like this word. They goes together. Then after this, they should come to pyramid at a certain time. And remember that consciousness is connected to embryo exactly at the moment, section, fourth month. Fourth month. So at the end of the third month, you start to come to pyramid daily. And then the consciousness, the soul of the person, of the pharaoh, is caught by embryo, and when the child is grown up, we have a pharaoh, but with absolutely unusual abilities. So we get the same soul back to the earth in 1 year, and then some years for development, and this king would be, perfect one, reading minds, talking telepathically, whatever, just abilities you can compare with the abilities of the god. I hope you understand what it means. This is the reason why I'm so specific about it, because I know this knowledge can be used for our kids. Because if you will give birth to your kids in the proper time with the help of the pyramids, and another thing is important. Maybe you remember that druids, for example, when the child was born, they took a woman place, you know what I'm talking about, and they put it into the tree in a certain place, because in the tree, in the trunk of the tree, there are 3 zones. First, 1 meter approximately above the ground, then the second one where the branches goes away, and in the middle of the foliage. This is 3 chakras. The first one concentrate and include all 3 types of energetical vortexes. If you take and put your women place, child place, in this area, then all this period while or during this place is existing, energy, strong energy of the tree will be removed, sent to the child. The same with the pyramid. They took the place, put into the pyramid, and children become so strong, clever, so self-sufficient, perfect kids. Very interesting possibility for us and how to use the pyramids. And from this moment, I'd like to give you some short and brief ideas about what actually a pyramid is, because as I told you, there are at least 12 stimulus why a pyramid have been built. And here, let's get to the point. So as the result of more than 20 years of investigation, of ancient texts and scientific experiments, we can make a following conclusion, that pyramid is a powerful cosmic antenna. Then, it's a model in stone of the energy structure of a human being and the universe, using the universal energy mechanism. Critically important. Pyramid is a very powerful generator of cosmic energies operating on various planes. Pyramidal energy structures whose positions should be directed and decided, especially with reference to the energy qualities of the location, open up the following possibilities. First, tapping into natural flows of cosmic energy, the reorganization and stimulation of evolutionary processes in the biosphere and in human consciousness, correction of the human energetic structure, making it possible to stimulate internal energetic, biophysical, and psychological processes, which in turn provide the opportunity to discover and activate the inner resources of human psyche, increasing psychic potentials. Third, positive influence on immune and nervous system, leading to their perfection. Fourth, an improvement of mankind's energy ecological environment, an increase and improvement of the energy state at the pyramid's location. As the consequence of the spread of the pyramidal structures through the world, the reorganization of planet's energy structure within the next 15 years. So, here I'd like to say that the time soon will come when we will start to use pyramids for development. Again and again, I'd like to point out, for development, for proper development of our civilization, and especially our kids. Within the last 5 years, we made a wonderful experiment. Let's call it like this. And I'd like shortly to share this experiment with you. There is a family in former Ukraine. Now, thanks to God, it's Ukraine. It's already part of Russia. I'm talking about the Crimea. They're living my friends, and they have 3 kids in the family, and the youngest is Lisa. She was 8 years old, naughty, terribly naughty girl. It was impossible to be together with you in one room because she was here, everywhere, no chance to talk, so just headache. And her father, half Chinese and half Russian, he was using one and the same approach. That the kids, till a certain time, till 8 years, they should be free to do anything they want. But it was already 8 years old, and we decided that it's time to start to influence, to educate Lisa. And he asked, "Is it possible to use kind of ancient technologies for this purpose?" I would say godless, like God purpose. So we made a few pyramids and few energetic sources and installed in kitchen, in her bedroom, everywhere she was playing. And then I explained to them, from this moment, when we increased the energy, the density, you should do one and the same thing, just in the form of a game. Do with her what you would like to develop in your child. They both, and mother and father, said, we would like her to be a piano player. Good, I said, then go buy a piano, simple sounds. Listen, Lisa, it sounds great, you are perfect, you are doing well. All should be done on the positive, stimulus like this. When she was 10, in 2 years, she played with all famous orchestra of the Europe. 2 years, from 0 to the best piano player in Russia. Can you imagine what means pyramid? Perfect. Perfect effect. And this is the reason why I'm sure this effect of the pyramid should be used for schools, for kindergartens, for institutes. One of the best places to create the biggest campus, biggest universal campus. This is the area of Vysoko, because you have there huge pyramid, which is working now, constantly receiving information, and through the pyramid of the moon, pyramid of the sun, and the other pyramids in this area, they are redirecting the energy on the whole valley. When we were talking together with Sam, I said, this is the perfect place. Just, if you will do that, just imagine. Students here, in 5-6 years, will be the best in the world, just because of the capacities, the knowledge, deep, very catchable, So, let's go on. For us, living in Russia, that results, which we have very, very shortly been talking and discussing, was the moment that we should start to use this knowledge for practical purposes. And after building first experimental pyramid, full-scale experimental pyramid, not so far from St. Petersburg, we started to build a huge student campus in the middle of Russia. A few years ago, I was called by a man from Tomsk city, which is situated right in the middle of Siberia, and he phoned me and said that he found my work in the internet, came to St. Petersburg to meet me, to talk with me, because he has a project and he would be very happy if I would say okay. When we met, he said that he's living in Tomsk, 1 million people living in the city, among them 600,000 students. Is it possible, he said, to use the technologies, the pyramids, whatever, to stimulate their creative abilities? Students' creative abilities. I said, oh my gosh, sure, let's do this. And we started our project. The big piece of land has been bought, 525 hectares. And what I did, because I was invited as the architect to make design the whole project, I have combined the knowledge from all over the world about any pyramids ever built on planet Earth, and to bring all this knowledge together to create complex. And just facing the reality that, for example, Cheops pyramid is 146.6 meters high, 232 meters wide, huge pyramid. Our pyramid is exactly 10 times smaller, the middle pyramid. But at the same time, it is more than 10 times stronger. Just because, being a professional in this subject, I can explain to you what actually Pyramid of Cheops is. Why they height it like this, why parameters have been chosen like this, what for? Because the pyramid has strong aspects and very weak aspects. So, in our pyramid complex, we decided to pull all together and using our technology to create a very powerful, effective complex of the pyramid. And we started to build from the central pyramid. This area is situated approximately 15 minutes to drive from the center. Okay, so here you can see the general construction of the central pyramid. This pyramid is absolutely different to what you will see anywhere in the planet Earth. Inside of the pyramid we have 25 pyramid-shaped chambers, and each chamber is tuned on a certain frequency, which on one hand brings a certain quality to the pyramid and at the same time increases the energy potential of the pyramid. Started building and making this big hole, and what is important, from the first step up until the last step, during construction processes, we have been using white quartz. This is very important, not yellow, white, because the central axis of symmetry of white quartz is twisted into spiral, left-sided and right-sided. It means this small crystal can produce and generate like a lot of very soft type of energy. To make it a little bit more understandable for you, imagine that each crystal has also its own chakra. So, inside the crystal goes energy through chakra, one vortex, but gets out of the crystal a lot of vortexes because of the spiral centralized system. This is important more. And then on each level, on each stage of construction processes, we used very special minerals, very special devices to control the speed of time and processes inside of the pyramid. For example, that black part of the pyramid on bottom, we're playing two roles. First role, to keep water away from the pyramid, from the foundation, and at the same time speeding up the vortex, the beam of energy coming into the pyramid. Speed up. We planned to create effect like bumping mechanism. Like when we are doing ball, the intensity of energy and like air inside is bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more and more, and this gives possibility to realize some psychic abilities inside of the pyramid just because the density of energy inside is much bigger, stronger than in the usual environment. So then we started to build, you see, remember, 8-facet foundation. Just to keep the energy coming from the pyramid stable, not fluctuating to and fro, but stable. Then we started to build 12-facet foundation. This 12-facet foundation, as I spoke before, was built to neutralize the negative aspects of energetical vortex or flow coming from the ground, from the earth. The precision was so high, and actually is so high, that we had to polish each side of the foundation and the pyramid, that this difference between sides, was no more than 4 millimeters. If among you there are some construction builders, you know that 4 millimeters is just perfect. Because usually 1 or 2 centimeters, 4 centimeters, it's okay, it's normal. Here, no, we should catch millimeters. This is the crystals which are standing in the middle. Huge crystals. This is the heart of energetical system of the complex. Here I'd like to say that for the first time within the last at least 14,000 years, we created a very unique energetic source under the complex of the pyramid. This is a very important aspect which have been lost thousands of years ago. Just to give you another idea to compare what I'm talking about, if you take any church, Christian church or mosque, among hundreds of people, let's be fair about it, among 100 of people, only 3 of them will feel so-called temple effect. If the temple is constructed without these energetical systems. But if you created, you built the church and you put under the system this energetic source, 97 people from 100 will experience strong temple effect. It is critically important. That's why we did it here. This middle section is the place where this big crystal is situated, and inside of this, another very interesting chamber will be built, and you will see photo later, so-called oracle chamber. The word oracle, you understand, the chamber where you can connect and receive information. So this is very short as a process, how we produced the roof. This is a ventilation system inside of the 12-facet foundation. This is the cross section. Also very interesting and important detail I'd like to point out for you. From the ground, from the bottom, up till second floor and so on, we have an empty area in the form of a tube. So energy vortex, energy beam can go from the earth through the pyramid up without interruption. And this is important. This is general construction of the pyramid. And here we started to build the pyramid as it is. Pyramid-shaped chambers. These places are for energetic sources also. In each chamber we have one energetic source. So in general, pyramid has at least 28 energetical sources inside. Started to build sides. Here we started to polish the sides of the pyramid. Here pyramid is ready. Pyramidium, quartz pyramidium, which we put on top. Any pyramid must have pyramidium made of quartz, otherwise pyramid will not be effective. Here you can see the picture with the pyramidium. This is the biggest in the world quartz ball ever made. I try to point out, and again I want to point out, This is the only one in the world, biggest, not mixture of quartz and glass, the real one, which is 108 kilograms in weight and 42 centimeters in diameter. It is situated in the middle of the pyramid. This is the center of concentration of energy vortexes. This is not all here. Then here also will be the place with water, because water is critically important for concentration of energy, and then a redistribution of the energy in a special range, first of all inside of the pyramid, and then pyramid redirect this energy and emit this energy into surroundings. Also bronze bell. It's also critically important because bronze bell gives a chance, a possibility to synchronize vibration of each cell in your body, like, oops, so everything in tune, critically important. This is the one reason. Another reason is the cleansing of the pyramid from the bad energies. Because pyramid plays, let's be fair about it, pyramid plays the role of accumulator. And like with Pyramid of Cheops, for last 300 years, so many, millions and millions of people have been there. They brought their problems, their illnesses, and especially in the moment of solar activity, like solar storms on the planet Earth, for pretty big group of people, visitation of the Cheops pyramid is dangerous, because they will get cancer. Why cancer in the pyramid? Because pyramid is destroyed. Inner part of the pyramid stayed approximately the same, and any inner part has a stimulative effect. But synchronization is done by sides of the pyramid. And if you remember, the sides of Cheops pyramids are destroyed. That's the reason why it stimulates, but do not synchronize. And this is bad. So, in ancient times, to clean the pyramids, they used so-called whistling effect, and that shafts, if probably you have heard and you know, there are some kind of channels. Two channels looks on the northern part, gets out northern part of the pyramid, and the two of them go to the south side of the pyramids, and they are directed on some planets and some stars. Beside it, when special crystals, which have been, used as the crystal to close, on one hand, this channel, and this crystal was a transformator of the energy coming from the stars. But when this crystal was taken off, and when the wind was moving, and let's say cutting, winding the side of the pyramid, the sound appeared like a pyramid starts to vibrate, and this vibration was cleaning Cheops pyramid. But now it doesn't work like this because the whole system is destroyed. But in our pyramid, we use bronze bell for this particular reason. This is the oracle chamber inside of the pyramid. This is general construction. Here I'd like to point out these particular places for water. A lot of, approximately 50 tons of water is here. Why water is important? For two main reasons. First of all, water is a huge container of energy and information. If you take 50 tons of water, in this water, information about any living creatures, and about any bacteria, about any body of you, any processes in your cells, in all your lives will be recorded from the beginning of the planet till the end, till the last day, today. Anything is here. So, if you create a system which allows you to read the information from water, you have access to information about creation, and especially about anything ever happened on the planet Earth. This is the first reason. We built such a system because in ancient texts we have found description how the system for reading the information should be constructed. Another very important aspect, this is transformation of the energy into the range acceptable by human organism. Because biggest problem is that when you use any tools And you always say, well, I'd like to have the tool, the most strong, most powerful tool, like what? Then it's okay for me. This is the biggest mistake. Because when you take anything, like medicine, in your hands, and your aura immediately scans this medicine and understands this is the chemicals, this is against your nature. At the moment when you pull this pill in your mouth, your immune system immediately starts to defend organism, reject this influence. That's why usually we say, oh, strange, I started to use this medicine, 3 months no more passed, and this medicine doesn't work anymore. Because immune system created environmental, defensive system, like membrane, call it as you want, to protect your organism against negative influence. The same with high energy. If you will use high, very strong energy without adaptation, immune system will not allow this energy to go in. Water, this is the best natural adapter. So this is the reason why water have been used. Another view of the pyramid. So in 12-facet foundation under the pyramid, now there is a so-called like place for keeping foods and waters and vegetables, because those person who financed the project, in general, he's the owner of shops selling food in this territory. And he started to expose the food and water into the pyramid and then sell to the people. Just a little bit more expensive, but without something special. Here I'd like to give you an idea about the effect and experiment also have been done in this pyramid. These boxes are filled with bottles of French wine, very cheap French wine. He bought it from France directly, just a couple of euros for one bottle, like nothing. And then after exposition of this wine into the pyramid, Vlad invited these French specialists from France, asking them to check the wine and to say what it is. These French specialists had an eyes here, because they said, how it's possible, where did you get this wine? Because it's, according to the letters written on the boxes, it's very cheap wine, but the quality is the highest. What did you do with this wine? What did we do? Nothing. Dmitry Makarov from Moscow, chief builders of the complex. For approximately more than 10 years, very hard form of asthma. So hard form of asthma that he was using, sprays for 4 or 5 times per day, deadly, very strong, the strongest sprays. During one of, I call it experiment, but actually it was just event, when Vlad, the sponsor, called us while we have been to Tomsk and said that he has got a seashell, big seashell from India, from his friend. And this friend made, you see here a small seashell, but that was the biggest one. They made a trumpet, like a tube, to make a sound from this shell. He said, let's go to the pyramid and we'll see how it works, because pyramid has a wonderful resonating effect. We came, all 3 of us, we came to the pyramid, and when Vlad made a sound, Dmitry, he fell down on his knees. He was absolutely pale, covered with sweat. His eyes were evil. He was so afraid. He ran away from the pyramid, and from that next day up to today, he never anymore used sprays. He lost asthma for one treatment. That's the effect of the pyramid. Here, general schema, general plan of the future complex. Here also, I want to show you that these 4 objects, this is the mirrors, 270 meters wide and approximately 27 meters high. Pure mirror to reflect the energy coming from the pyramid complex back to the central pyramid. And does it work? No, it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. So, and then here there is the model of the pyramids of a second ring and first ring, because this year we built 8 more pyramids. This is the cross-section of the pyramid of the first and second ring. Here I am showing you what means first and second ring. And here you can see how it looks like the territory. We are building the pyramids. Here you can see the pyramids is there, here, there, and there. All pyramids are forming, they have a very special geometrical orientation to each other, so that all the pyramids, at the end of the story, we will have 33 pyramids in this complex. And all 33 pyramids will be forming exactly so-called energetical pyramids. And these energetical pyramids, which will have not almost 540 meters wide, it gathers and concentrates energetic flow coming from the ground to the central pyramid. It has a very serious, strong energetic effect. And then this energy also is sent by complexes under the pyramids, because under the pyramid complex, approximately 300 meters deep, we have a huge lake. It's like much more than Baikal Lake. It's a huge lake which covers a huge territory of Siberia. Through the water of these lakes, we planned and we will be influencing the huge territory of Tomsk, of Siberia, and this effect for sure will have a very positive impact. This is one of the ideas why we chose exactly this place. Another project which we are now realizing, we are building such pyramids. This is the office home pyramid. This is the pyramids where we started to build Tilmun, living house in the pyramid. At the same time, this particular pyramid, this is the first pyramid, experimental pyramid, where we made the first experiments. These are the projects, future projects. Of the pyramid. So, in general, we came to almost last slide of my presentation, where I'd like to say that I hope that if you come here, or you came here with questions after, realization what actually a pyramid is, and here I just put 12 main stimulus which made people in ancient time, and I hope in the nearest future, will make us build pyramids all over the world. So after all this, you've got some answer. Details you can find in the book, or in one of my books which called is The Pyramid, the Legacy of the Gods. You can download this book from these particular internet addresses. So, from this moment, now I'd like to tell you great thanks for your attention and for your patience. Because for me, believe me, it was not so easy to bring the information about the pyramid, this wonderful piece of knowledge, into a short way. That's why I had always been trying to cut myself, just to give you the general ideas. So, and I'd like to tell you great thanks for this wonderful energy, which actually you created here in this hall, because I felt it clearly, because you helped me very much with this. Somehow, you showed me a certain vector, how to create, how to go along my presentation. At the same time, I know that this energy vortex, this is the best way to receive information, the most deeper, so that in the nearest future, this will somehow start to change your understanding of the pyramid, will start to work inside of you, and you will be changing your surroundings, your life, in a better way, using the knowledge about the pyramid, maybe using the pyramids for your home, remembering that this is, first of all, for kids, for you. And anything I have done for the last 25 years, I actually did for this particular reason. That's why I'm sharing with you. Hope next time we will see again, and I'll give you and bring some more interesting details. But for today, I'd like to tell you great thanks for your help, for your hospitality, for your patience, and for your eyes. If am I right? Maybe we have some minutes for question and answers. If you have, ask.
First of all, thank you for being here. Sit down.
That's okay.
So first of all, thank you for your presentation. First of all, being here. One of the intriguing things you brought up, especially in the last part, is the failing parts of Gizeh. Because you said already, well, the capstone is not there anymore, and the whole structure is more or less has been destroyed. There's no water around it anymore because the Nile is floating there, not anymore. You bring water in. What a bit miss is the influence of the pyramid in relation to its, let's say, its energy lines, its meridians, the ley lines, you can say. What is your intent in Russia to bring out, not only on the water, but also other ley lines connected with what?
Well, actually, first of all, good question, good question. The complex which we started to build in Russia, we orient by a very special way. Why? It is a little bit different to present Northern Pole. Why we did it? Because we know exactly that within the following 40, 50 years, the magnetic axis will be changed. So we are predicting where it will be in the nearest future. And as long as we build this complex, not for 1 or 10 years, not for 100 years, maybe longer, we did this very special orientation. This is the one way. Another way, if you noticed, we are building the pyramids with the help of special metallic structures we pour in concrete. Why we did it? Because later we can use this material to build absolutely the same type of this pyramid in any other places of Russia or maybe outside of Russia. It gives a possibility to tune the pyramid of this complex on the same pyramid of the other complexes. This is the easiest, most effective way how to tune it. And then last thing which I'd like to tell you, that from the point of view of ley lines, pyramid of Gizeh complex was built on absolutely wrong place. Because energetically, this area absolutely dead. And the complex and the pyramid of Cheops is working only 49 days per year. All other days, it's silent. Because it was connected with a very special idea why this complex have been built. Shortly, I will explain if you are interested in. This is the page. This is the most important page of ancient canon. Canon, it's kind of a book how to build the pyramid properly. The name of this complex is the sacred name of the beginning of time. This is key moment, beginning of time. Because this complex is oriented not on the former north, like all other pyramids are oriented on Meru, oriented on the present north. That's important. But as long as the asteroid impact, huge, terrible asteroid impact, took place 13,668 years ago, And this impact moved planet Earth from its orbit. Before, we were flying around the sun with the speed of 360 days, but now we have 365. We flew away 5 days further with the speed of 30 kilometers per second. That's why the climate has been changed critically. This is the first important moment. And then, when the planet moved away, all energetical cycles which have been taken in account to create, to build, and tune the pyramid went out of power. All complexes in the world became silent. And then, for more than 1,150 years, our planet have been in a chaos. It was not flying and moving as it's flying now. And if you take into account ancient Chinese texts, they say that there was a time when the sun rose 4 times where it's rising now, was setting down now and then back. It is setting now where 4 times the sun was rising up. It means chaos. It was moving like this, flying along the orbit. And only in 1,150 years later, when planet came to a stable position, those priests of ancient time who survived, they had to spend many time to recalculate all the cycles according to the changed geography of the solar system, because some of the planet of its solar system have been destroyed. The last moment of recreation or rebuilding the solar system was the moment when Venus appeared. Venus appeared exactly, according to text, 3,113 years ago. Before there was no Venus on the sky. So it means somebody created and put Venus in a certain place. And what we have? Ancient knew exactly that all these planets are affecting planet Earth, us on the planet Earth, and all psychic processes. They have to recalculate it. And when they did it, they decided to make a wonderful, most important cycle that actually, if you just ask any astrophysics, they tell you that now we have a cycle, the main general cycle, which is 25,920 years long. But that is the biggest mistake, because according to the ancient scriptures, the first cycle, new time, started a little bit more than 13,668 years ago. And to make this description important, why it is important, from here we can recalculate all cycles and to build pyramids according to new tuning, formulas, everything is new. How to keep it safe? Paper, papyrus, no chance. They build it in stone, okay? And what they did, they oriented the pyramid on the stars, on the place where sun is appearing on 22nd of March. So they just made a description on the land. So if you are a priest, if you know what is it about, you can go and you can calculate from this temple, from this complex, all aspects in connection with time. That is the main idea of the complex in Giza.
You refer to Leo. The age of Leo refer to. In age, because now you refer to time.
Yes, anything, because you should try to understand, if you do not tune your pyramid on what we are talking now about, your pyramid will be dead, no working, no chance to talk with time, to look through past and to look through future, no chance. because that so-called energetic membranes are open only in a very few certain moments during the year. So thank you, my friends. Thank you for the question.
One last question and one last short answer. More questions?
Some experiences with pyramids and radioactive pollution. Radioactive pollution. Pollution.
Sure. First of all, again, today we have been talking about the pyramids as the instrument for synchronization. Okay? Synchronization, it means we are controlling the inner biological time. One of the aspects of the mechanism how to control the inner biological time and actually stimulate this aspect is the usage of quartz. Because quartz has very important capacity, so-called piezoelectric effect. Shortly, I will explain how it was used in so-called the wands of Horus. Just shortly, and you will understand the principle. If to very shortly describe the main knowledge of human beings and that times received from extraterrestrials, if we just imagine the priest who knows anything about it, he would explain the general, central height idea by the following. First thing is, remember that human being constructed according to the same principle as the universe. You are so complicated so that there is only one thing or one anything, call it as you want, who knows about you, what you need now after what you ate in the morning and what you did today. This is your endocrine system. And what you need to do is just to use the signal of your inner voice, inner God, because to describe how complicated it's constructed, just take into account your body, millions and millions of cells. Each cell vibrates with own vibration. These cells form the organs, own vibration. Organs forming the system, own vibration. Then you are sitting here. An organism has its own personal vibration. We are flying together with the planet through the universe. And the environment, magnetic, electromagnetic, energetical, is changed each second. This is an enormous amount of information which you cannot control by any sensors. Some people say, just put sensor here, we get information here from the ill cells, and then we expose this information back to the healthy cells, to the ill cells, and it will be corrected. Forget. Anything is very much more complicated. So, what you need to do? You need to empower the signals of your endocrine system. Any signals, as we spoke today, which are sent to correction, this is the weak, very weak electromagnetic signals. So, when you take the wands, or you go into the pyramid, which are produced with the usage of quartz, inside of the wands, there are crystals of quartz. You took them, and immediately you're giving your energy, your electricity to the cylinders, plus cylinders, copper and zinc. Immediately, between copper and zinc appears the difference of potential, 1.5 volt. And quartz inside starts to vibrate. And it vibrates in a very wide range. And then, again, any signals sent by hypothalamic and system, this is the very weak electromagnetic signals, okay? These electromagnetic signals goes into resonance with piezoelectric effect. It means quartz is empowering this, and your aura starts to vibrate with vibration controlled and directed by hypothalamic system. This is the reason why the pyramid, they have so wonderful corrective effect. Beside it, beside quartz, there is another mineral which has the same type of influence. This is, for example, granite. It has slight natural radioactive impulse. You know, if you put a certain technical device, it starts to register like impulses. What is important that these impulses are precise and precise, and this is also the way how to influence your inner biological time and vibration. That's the reason why they used quartz, they used minerals with natural radioactivity, they used minerals which were transforming the energetical vortexes coming from outer space into the range acceptable for human organism. Everything had a wonderful meaning. So radioactivity is highly important. And at the same time, they used mica. You know what is mica? Mica, why mica was used in the pyramid? Because this is also a very interesting aspect of the knowledge. Pyramid creates, let's say like this, 7 energetic vortexes. 7 most important energetic flows which are working in our organism. But at the same time, always keep remember, there are some negative aspects. And negative aspect is the so-called second energetical body, astral body, and also membrane between 4th and 5th energetical bodies. So for this reason, in the pyramid, they used mica so that a certain energy flow would be speed up in your energetical system, and astral body slow down. By this way, they were correcting negative effect in your organism. I tell you, wonderful knowledge, wonderful. The most interesting thing we still have ahead, because next time we will meet, probably I will be able to give you some ideas of the minerals and their capacities. But keep in mind that nothing has been used just for beauty or for other reasons. For meaning, very deep meaning.